So anyone who has ever built a computer probably knows what this is. It's a GPU, and hell, even some gamers probably know what it is. Graphics card, GPU, it's what renders what's on the screen. It's what makes the picture. And there are two main brands that make them. Nvidia, with mainly their RTX line nowadays, and AMD, with their RX line. But there are so many people who argue, oh, Nvidia's better for this reason. Oh, AMD's better for this reason. And I've got a weird argument. I think they're good for different reasons, and we shouldn't always be comparing them. Let me explain. Nvidia's good at a few things. Oh, hi, cat. They've got lots of features, like DLSS, NVENC, CUDA cores, a bunch of stuff like that are generally used for a lot of things outside of gaming. Now, I would like to admit, I have Nvidia bias. In my main rig, I run an RTX 4060 Ti, and I have never run a recent AMD card. Just haven't had the chance to have hands-on with it. But generally, Nvidia is very good at things for creatives. And yes, they're very good gaming cards, especially things like the 4090. It's arguably one of the top at the moment, but it's also really good for creatives. It's really good for AI workloads, a bunch of stuff like that. AMD, on the other hand, is just fast gaming performance. And yes, they have their own encoder and they've got a bunch of features like that, but it's not their standout. They just want fast forward gaming performance. And this is something the two brands arguably know as well. Because for example, here's me going through both of their websites and how they advertise their cards and the features they show off, as well as what it means for the pricing. So this is AMD's website for their new 7000 series. Their AMD 7000 graphics cards, and they've got their features up here. Starting off with their RDNA 3, which is of course their architecture, which for this is kind of inapplicable. In some very specific cases, it's useful, but it's just their ray tracing, their AI acceleration, stuff like that. But how does that actually affect the card? Of course, some massive jumps in gaming performance, with some, admittedly, as they say, breakthrough performance, as some of their cards are incredibly fast. They do have the features of things like VRAM, which admittedly I'll give them. Their VRAM's generally higher than Nvidia. They've got AV1, which is like NVENC basically. Things like shared memory, but overall, most of their advertising is based off of just the pure gaming performance. If we look at the RTX 40 series, on the other hand, it is also insanely fast gaming performance, but it has a lot of extra features based on. Built for live streaming with the Nvidia encoder, RTX of course, Nvidia is kind of known for their ray tracing. There is of course Nvidia DLSS, which I've done an entire video on, which will massively boost your performance though. It is a massively useful feature. Nvidia Reflex, which lowers the latency, and a lot of cool features by Nvidia on that front. They've got lots of tools for creative. Nvidia Studio, which is using AI. Nvidia Encoder, which is NVENC, which is a great encoder. Nvidia Broadcast, which is admittedly an app that uses features on the card. There's of course Nvidia Omniverse, Nvidia Canvas, a lot of AI-based features. They've got Nvidia G-Sync, which admittedly AMD's got FreeSync. There's resizable bar, virtual reality. Nvidia has a lot of features that AMD just either has and just does not keep up with, like ray tracing, and their encoder does not keep up with NVENC, or features that they just flat out don't have. Like, while it's not featured on this page, there's still things like CUDA cores, which I haven't even talked about. AMD cards are very nice cards, do not get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and say they're a bad card. If we look at purely gaming performance, yes, they're very comparable with some Nvidia cards, but that's the thing, these are very much gaming cards. Nvidia themselves talks about how they've got top tools for the creative trade. They're not just trying to be a gaming card. They've got features like AI, CUDA cores, NVENC. They've also had a lot more time to perfect those features. Nvidia Reflex, DLSS. Admittedly, that comes with a caveat. Admittedly, if we look at something like a 4080 here, it is around $2,000 just short of in AUD, which is a lot of money. But gaming specs wise, the RX 7900 XT, which is pretty similar as far as I'm aware gaming specs wise, is anywhere from 1,300 to 1,800, which is a lot cheaper and has extra VRAM, having 20 gigs of GDDR6, and is overall a lot cheaper. Whereas Nvidia only has 16 gigs, which yes, there are definitely programs that require a lot of VRAM that aren't game, which yes, that's true. Nvidia needs to step up their VRAM game. But a little bit of VRAM isn't going to beat out all those other features. This is why it honestly really frustrates me when I see people going, oh, AMD is better because it's cheaper for more performance. Oh, Nvidia is better because of things like DLSS. They're marketed for different people and different use cases. I'm not saying we should never compare them. Please don't get that out of this. Yes, for gaming performance, we should be comparing the two. They are direct competitors. We need to compare the two. I see so many people look at it as just Nvidia versus AMD, but it's not that black and white and straightforward. We've got to talk about the gaming performance of this card is this. The features of this card is this. It's not just this card versus this, who wins. Because the brands themselves know it. Nvidia's for creatives. AMD's got good gaming performance for cheap. This isn't something they're hiding, but everyone still argues it. I personally don't think one is better than the other. I'm a creative myself. I make videos, I do all that sort of stuff, which is why I've always gone with Nvidia. And admittedly, there is a factor of brand recognition to it. I haven't had a bad experience with Nvidia. I'm not going to switch to AMD for no reason. But I also don't dislike AMD. My main point boils down to, I see so many comments, AMD's better than Nvidia, and AMD calling people Nvidia and AMD fanboys, but it's not that simple. Neither side is right. AMD is generally better at cheaper gaming performance. Nvidia's better for features and creatives, and that's okay. They can be different. We can accept that. That's my opinion, at least. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this video about Nvidia and AMD. It's a bit different to my usual content, but I'll have some of that on screen in the end card. Please subscribe and like. It would help out a ton, as I'm a small creator. And comment down below what your graphics card is and why you picked it. I really hope to see you in the next one. I hope you enjoyed this video, and, well, bye-bye.